and Airport Advisory Council member and co-chair of the Airport Aviation Day, Cameron Carr. Welcome to the show.
Thank you.
Bart, nice to see you. Thanks for having us in.
Both of these gentlemen are pilots. And I think pretty much everyone that's hooked into the airport, it's a love too, isn't it?
Most of our advisory council members are pilots, but we have some that are not. We like to have the community represented in the council.
Well, we've got a few things to talk about today. We'll get to Aviation Day in just a couple minutes, Cameron. But first, some exciting news for people that want to learn how to fly. There's now that option here.
That's correct. So when Jackson College shut down their flight program, we didn't have a flight school on the airport. And as of January 1st, we've had Great Lakes Air Venture. Great Lakes Air Venture is based out of Mason Jewett Airport, but they've opened up a branch down here in Jackson. They've taken over the college building. So it's the same location, and you can get your flight training at that time. It's a great place to learn how to fly. And if you're remotely interested in flying, if you want to make flying a career, and right now becoming a pilot is one of the top career choices, there's a great place to get started. So come by and look up Great Lakes Air Venture.
So someone that wants to do for a career commercial pilot, they got to start somewhere.
Correct.
Everyone starts with private planes?
Yep, pretty much. Even the military starts with small airplanes, and they move on to the bigger airplanes. So if you want to do flying as a career, you may want to get started locally. It'll be much less expensive to learn how to fly locally, and then move on to a bigger flight program at one of the universities. So this is a great place. If you transfer to Western Michigan University right now, as an example, you will not start flying until your sophomore year. So you can start flying as soon as you turn 16, and you can get your private pilot's license. And when you transfer as a freshman, you're already ahead of the game.
Awesome.
By everybody else, yeah.
So what do they have for equipment?
They have 2 airplanes right now. They have a Piper Archer, and they have a Cessna 172. So one's a high wing and one's a low wing. They're both single-engine airplanes.
Cameron, how did you learn to fly?
So I actually joined a club on the airport, the Aero Investors Club, and I did mine a little different route. I came into contact with Clint White. He's been on the show before, and we worked together to get my private pilot knocked out in about 4 months. So
wow.
I was working, after hours. I get done with my day job, drive over to the airport, spend a couple hours flying, studying on my own time, and got it knocked out. So
that sounds a fast track. Is that typical? 4 months?
That's a fast track.
Yeah.
I got into it, and it was, I just got addicted to it, and I was like, I got to fly every day. So whenever the weather was looking good, I was up in the air. So
nice.
We got it done.
So the airport is about to get even busier. In addition to having Great Lakes Air Ventures, you've got we'll be talking about Aviation Day, but you've got a tradition. I think it's happening this month.
Yes, that's correct. Yep, the EAA, the Experimental Aircraft Association, they have an annual pancake breakfast, and that's on May 29th, which is the Sunday of Memorial Day weekend. And that's, up until now, was our main fundraising event of the year at the airport. We usually get 700 to 900 people buying breakfast, and then they can typically go and catch a ride, or they see the airplanes flying. And it's just a great family event. And that's on May 29th. The EAA, they're always looking for members to come in and join. If you're interested in building your own airplane or learning how to fly, or if you're a pilot, you can always join the EAA chapter locally. It's a great.
This pancake breakfast, how many years has this been going on?
I'm not sure as to the number of years, but the EAA chapter got started in the 70s. And I imagine that probably sometime in the early 90s, late 80s is when they started doing the breakfast.
Nice. The end of the pandemic hopefully is in our future. How's the airport survived?
We did really good. The pandemic did not really affect us too much except for the flight training. It's difficult to do flight training when you're trying to do social distancing. But everybody else, all the aircraft owners kept flying. We had our corporate members kept flying in and out of the community. It's a business airport. The Jackson County Airport is a business airport, and that's why we're turning the community, and we want to let the community know that aviation is something that is done to benefit the community, not only for safety reasons. in the event of an emergency evacuation, but also for business. A lot of the larger corporations in the country, they fly into Jackson to do business in Jackson, and they do that because we have a nice airport.
Yes, we do. And great to see that it's helping our economy and our overall community's health. Juan, thanks for the updates. We're going to switch gears now and talk about Aviation Day. And Cameron Carr, you're co-chair of Airport Aviation Day, and I can't recall ever having an Aviation Day at the airport.
Yeah, we've had a few events at the airport over the years. I believe the Hot Air Jubilee used to be based out of the airport. And then obviously we have the Pancake Breakfast every year, which is, it's more of a low-key event. It's great for the family to come out. You get to see a lot of general aviation aircraft and, have a great breakfast. Get to meet some pilots on the field. But what we're trying to offer the community is a chance to see almost every branch of aviation. So we're going to have some corporate aircraft, some private jets. We're going to have some military aircraft. I actually have an A-10 Thunderbolt II from Selfridge is going to come over. They actually used to be based in Battle Creek and moved over to Selfridge. So there are a lot of members that still work at Selfridge that live here in Jackson. So we're able to link up with a few of the maintainers there that were very gracious and helped us, allocate the A-10 for this event. And then we have the C-47 from the Yankee Air Museum. So it's your historical World War II aircraft that operate on every continent in World War II and made a big difference for the Allies. So you're gonna have a chance to take a ride on that with the Yankee Air Museum's program. And then we have just a slew of different aircraft that will be on display as well. So it's a great chance to bring the family out and get to see a little bit of everything.
And Clint White joins us. Clint is co-chair of this event. Are you a pilot yourself, Clint?
I am, yes.
Yes. What do you fly?
I actually fly commercial for American Airlines. I got into the advisory council, I wanted to give back to the community and to the airport. And I think a lot of the advisory council wants that as well. So we came up with this idea for Aviation Day to really bring the community into the airport and show that the community has access to the airport as well. If you want to learn how to fly or take one flight, to see what it's like. If you want to own an airplane, if you want to set up a business at the airport, there's a lot of opportunity and a lot of access for the Jackson community at the airport. So
And Jackson's a pretty big aviation town.
it is.
Our history and there's a lot of enthusiasts and like you, a lot of pilots live here.
Yes. And you say history. Part of our Aviation Day that we're doing this year is we are bringing Bill Maher into the fold. Mr. Maher was a huge aviation buff, and he put a lot of money into the aviation program at JCC that they had. And with the Heritage Foundation, we're really trying to showcase what he had done for aviation as well. And he was a World War II pilot. He flew
Flying Tiger.
Yes, C-47. So we had the C-47 coming over from Yankee Air Museum, and yeah, trying to pull it all together, share aviation with Jackson. So.
Now, on Aviation Day, are there going to be is there opportunity for people to fly in any of these unusual airplanes?
Yeah, absolutely. So the Yankee Air Museum is offering seats on the C-47. You can book it through their website or you can visit theflyjackson.com. There's a link there as well. The Civil Air Patrol just reached out to us last week. They're going to bring out a 172 and potentially offer some flights. Great Lakes Air Venture will be there as well to offer some flights in their aircraft. You get to meet some of their instructors, maybe some students as well. Then the Aero Investors Club as well, which is the club that I joined and got my private pilot license through. They're going to bring some airplanes out as well. So you get the chance to see some different opportunities and different avenues to get into aviation. So it's not a one shoe fits all. It really depends on what your interests are and what your goals are. So.
We've really tried to mix it up. We have small general aviation aircraft, military aircraft, helicopters. Air Force is bringing out they call it the hangar. It's a huge aircraft maintaining facility, so you can learn about aircraft maintenance if that interests you. We really tried to mix it up and really show what aviation can do for Jackson, what opportunities there are.
We are seeing you know, the future is aviation for transportation. Helicopters that can just land and take off from any place with little noise. Are we all going to have to learn to fly eventually?
Only if you want to, I guess. And it's funny you bring that up. At one of our last advisory council meetings, Juan had brought up the idea of the vertical takeoff and landing aircraft. I believe they're set to be certified in the next few years. So that's something that we in Jackson want to bring to the airport as well. There's opportunities for manufacturing or even takeoff landing spots. So that's kind of the next generation. Whether they're autonomous or not, if you want to learn how to fly, we can always teach you right now how to fly.
I kind of like it when I can see there's a pilot in the plane I'm in.
Yeah,
Yeah.
well,
It's a little more comfortable.
as pilots, we agree.
Yeah, exactly.
And the career right now, so you're a commercial airline pilot
Yes.
for American, it's a tough job to fill right now, isn't there? A lot of
Yeah,
openings?
it's really, if you're looking to get into commercial aviation as a career, there hasn't been a better time. American Airlines we're hiring 2,500 pilots this year, which is unprecedented.
Wow. So planes, of course. History, there's a museum, there's displays, there's art, you've got sculptures. What about food? You've got the apron.
Yeah. Yep.
Yes, we have the apron. We'll have a couple of food trucks out there as well, just to kind of relieve the apron of some of the crowd that'll be there.
It's coming up June 25th, and here's all the various attractions of Aviation Day. A lot going on, a lot of ground to cover.
Yeah.
Yes.
It's going to be fun.
Will people be flying in for this? Are you letting the pilot community outside of Jackson know
Yeah,
about it?
absolutely. So we're reaching out to a few pilot groups on Facebook, and I've got posters. It's a good excuse to fly. I mean, we look for any excuse to fly, right? So I've been hopping around to different airports in the area, just leaving posters in the FBO, fixed base operators, just to let all the pilots know what's going on. So there's a good calendar online as well of different aeronautical events around Michigan, and there's a group of pilots. Every weekend they're looking for where are they going to go, where are they going to visit this week, and they're going to get the hamburger, right? Fly in for lunch, meet some other pilots, and then take off again. So we should have quite a bit of visiting aircraft as well.
Cool. Well, we will remind you as we get closer to it. It's more than a month away, but make your plans. Thanks for coming in.
Thank you.
With Jackson County Airport and Jackson County Airport's Aviation Day, Cameron Carr and Clint White. Thanks, guys.
Thank you.
Stay tuned. We've got some birthdays to celebrate.